all right. I can take my mask off now, can I? No. Okay. Uh, First of all, just so excited and nerves, anxiousness all day long with from top to bottom of the program. So happy for these players. Thankful for the selection committee to respect what we did, our body of work, our non-conference scheduling to the conference. Um, it's just an unbelievable moment that I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to share with the young ladies and my staff and this university for what we've accomplished, and just super excited to play a team like Oklahoma State and see what we can do.
Jen, I wanted to ask you, this is your ninth season, and this is only the second time in history for Wake Forest getting to the tournament. Why do you think that's been the case? I know you've been here 9 years and you went as a player. I mean, is there anything that maybe you can pinpoint, or why do you think it's been such a big gap?
Well, I think in women's basketball, like the parity is becoming more and more every year. I think there was a big gap between the haves and the have-nots for a long time in this game, and a lot of the top players always kind of went to the same places. And I think anytime you're going to try to build sustainable success and do it the right way with integrity and without compromising anything, you have to start at the foundation and to build it from the bottom up. And I think some of the things that we've had happen here at Wake Forest in the recent years with the amazing facilities we have, the commitment to our academics have always spoken for themselves, but now we have some of the top facilities, if not the most beautiful weight room in the country. Like now we have some of that buzz factor that you have to have with this day and age, with the top athletes and the top student athletes that you want to come represent your university. And there's a lot of great players and there's a lot of great teams and some phenomenal coaches across this country. And when you come to play in the ACC, you've got to bring your game every single night. And so you got to learn to win, and then you got to be able to be consistent and be able to take that on the road. And that's one of the hardest things to do in most conferences is who can win on the road and what does that look like? And, in a COVID year where there were so many things that were so different, I couldn't be more proud of our team because we've, knock on wood, have not had to cancel or postpone or quarantine or anything like that because of our commitment to it. So, just super excited for this.
And Coach, I know this is something I've talked a lot about with you, but what does it mean to return back to March Madness for the first time for Wake Forest since you were playing on the team?
It's an unbelievable feeling because I remember what it was like as a player, and I've been at some great institutions as an assistant and gone through selection shows. And, as nervous as we all were up there, it's exactly what we wanted. It's exactly where we want to be. It's, we want to be in this situation year in and year out. And, you can't explain it until you're in it. And, these young ladies now have had that once in a lifetime opportunity. And now, to kind of settle in and be able to relax and know who our next opponent is. And it's, an Oklahoma State, who's a phenomenal team. And, now we know, and now as coaches and players, we can start planning and but that emotion of just the pure jubilation, if you will, for what we were able to accomplish and to be here. So.
And Jen, were you a freshman or sophomore in '88?
I was a freshman that year.
And have you showed the girls the winning shot, I think, in that first game? Or
I have not. I don't know if we have it on film. I'll tell you, it was a baseline out of bounds, and I was wide open, so I guess somebody thought I couldn't score at all. But if I'd have blown that layup, I don't know if I'd have ever lived it down. But it was I think Alice Neal threw the ball in bounds, if I remember correctly. And we were up at Villanova and came away with, I think, a 1-point lead on that shot at the buzzer, basically out of bounds play, and then went down to Tennessee and got beat by the Volunteers, who ended up winning the tournament that year. So that was when they only took 32 teams.
Well, I have seen some footage, and it's color, so that's good.
Nice. Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Coach, as time went on tonight and we got a little bit deeper into the show, was there ever any concern that maybe y'all were going to be left out?
Well, I think they're always in the back of our minds. I mean, we've been talking from the time we left that court against Louisville in the ACC tournament that we believed we were in, and we practiced last week. And, we kept practices pretty short and really competitive and stayed in game shape. But we kept constantly talking about now we had, all of us staff to players were watching every game that was happening. And what if this upset occurs? And, we were on the edge of our seats for that BYU Gonzaga game. And then the whole thing with the MVC, the Missouri Valley Conference. And, we're very familiar with the Missouri State program and team from our win against them early in the season. And so, it's just nerve wracking. I mean, I kept telling them, we saw Carolina get in and some of the other people in the conference, and you start to get antsy, but there were still 2 regions to go. We were a little surprised. We came as early as it was because we were kind of thinking we were probably going to be a 10 or 11 seed and then to pull off a 9 seed. So again, just really super excited for this group.
Hey, Jen, does getting a 9 seed kind of show a little bit of validation that the committee valued your body of work this season?
Yeah, and that's where, I think, the committee, they always do a phenomenal job, and I don't know how they do their job because it's such a hard, when you look at all the teams across this country, there's some great basketball teams out there. And, I don't envy them at all, but they do a great job kind of going through it. And I really felt like it did. You always try to figure out as a coach, what is it going to take? The ACC speaks for itself, but what is it going to take? And, I go back to our very first, when we found out the season was going to start 2 weeks late, and our first 4 games were not going to be played because of it. We were a little bit, oh my gosh, we're going to Florida and we're playing back to back to back for the first 3 games of the season. And 2 of them are against top 25 programs. Is that really smart with COVID and everything else? And, and the administration from our athletic director, John Curry down was like, let's do it. Let's go. And the kids were the same way. We knew this was a special group, and I wanted to challenge them from day one because part of my job as a coach and our staff is to set them up for success. And that means challenging them with those schedules that put us in a position to be able to sit here today. And I think our non-conference scheduling was very instrumental, not only in challenging them, but also preparing us for our conference season and being able to go on the road and turn scouting reports around quickly. And then the ACC tournament, that's all prepared us for what we're getting ready to go experience in Texas in the NCAA tournament.
Coach,
Jen, I want to ask you about Jewel a little bit.
Okay.
She's obviously 1 for 1 going to the ACC tournament, since she's a freshman, but we talk a lot about your 2 seniors, but how much has she kind of meant to you guys this year in getting to this NCAA?
Well, I think she's been critical. She's one piece to the puzzle for us. And one of the things that we've done as a staff is really tried to kind of bring in the pieces that we feel like will fit together and make this group special. And, I think for what she's been able to do and as kind of as poised and as she is, sometimes I think we might forget she's even a freshman. So, just that other scoring threat, the deep ball threat that she has always, but she can score in a variety of ways, and she really doesn't force things. She lets the game come to her, and I think she just has gotten better and better and more comfortable as the season's gone on and what's expected. And her whole thing in coming here was to be part of a team that does it, that makes that major impact and makes the jump and not go somewhere that was already there. And now she can say she's a part of that. All these kids can. We've got a lot of great kids that are even behind the scenes, but I do think that's a big part of it.
Hey, Jen, as human beings, sometimes it's difficult to work through periods of uncertainty.
Right.
In the last week to 10 days, you all have kind of been hanging in the wings, trying to figure out what's going to happen. How's the work ethic been? And if it's been good, do you kind of credit your seniors for kind of keeping that on track?
I think the work ethic has been really good. I have to credit, I would say, our upperclassmen and my staff for just, we got together and said, like, what is our plan? And we were kind of doing that before we even left Greensboro. And we knew we wanted to practice, keep them in game shape, keep them fresh, but we wanted to kind of keep it short and, make sure it was fun. A competitive fun, but so we, and I think the kids on the court, like every day in practice, they brought an energy and excitement about still playing. And part of that's when you dangle the NCAA out there, that brings that excitement. And this group had the excitement of thinking they were going to play in postseason last year and it getting, ripped from everybody when we came back and COVID hit. So, I give a lot of credit to both our seniors, definitely. And then also just the staff really being conscious of, how do we make this fun? How do we keep them competing against each other? And, we practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We took Thursday off, and then we went Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday we kind of had a fun competitive shooting day where we had groups challenging each other to shooting competitions and team competitions, and really just something light because everyone at that point was really kind of anxious and nervous, and we were just trying to get our minds off of it completely.
And Jim, what's it like to kind of cap off the careers of Gina and Ivana with, playing on the biggest stage that there is in college basketball? How special is that for them and to you to kind of help lead them to that moment?
Well, there's nothing more special, I think, than having this opportunity. And especially when you're talking about, a senior class with those two and Maya Banks, who, bless her heart, had a tough year with her having her knee surgery and stuff. But for everything they came here to do, like, this is a dream come true for these kids. And definitely part of why I recruited them and why I brought them here was selling them on this exact dream. And if we dream it, we believe it, we can achieve it. And to sit here tonight with them and be able to say, we did it. Like, we did it, but we're not happy with that. We want to go. We don't want to just make it to the tournament. I've said this from day one. We want to be ready and go with the intention of winning when we get there. And so just so happy. These kids have poured a lot in. 4 years flies by, but at the same time, that's a lot of sweat equity that they've put in. And, they've had a lot of teammates who've come through that they've had to take under their wings and kind of show the way. And in a most difficult year of any of our lives, I would say, with what we've gone through and experienced with COVID and not being able to do some of the normal team building activities we've had an opportunity to do, it's just been a real challenge, but they've embraced it.
Do you kind of consider this run a chance to give thanks to the ones that have come before this group too? I saw De'Erica Hamby, for instance, tweet that she's crying, about this, and you think about all the great players that have come through, and now they get a chance to see this finally come to fruition.
Yeah, I think that this group feels a little bit of that. They feel a responsibility for all the alumni that have come here before and wanted to be a part of the group to do it, and have come close but not been able to kind of get over the hump. We had quite a few injuries in some years that I thought were probably going to be some of our bigger, better years. And, and part of being successful at this level is being able to sustain and not have those kind of key injuries. And I will give a lot of credit to our strength coach, Jenna Reddy. She is a rock star. She's been with me now for 3 years, I guess. And she just, like, her and our athletic trainer, Scott Spernoga, who's been with me since I got here, have done a phenomenal job with working on these kids to help us stay healthy. And, I think there's a lot of players out there, from De'Erica to LaChina to, I have former teammates that played. My phone is blowing up like crazy. It just means so much to all of us to know they've been behind us and cheering for us just as loud as ever. And like, this is part of this is for them too. It is like, there's a lot of Deacon pride, in this group. And I definitely think that they know that, and we've really embraced them and made them feel a part of it as much as we possibly can. So.
And Coach, I know how important it is for y'all to continue on into the tournament, but would you say a turning point for this program?
Sorry, can you repeat that? It broke up for a second.
I'm sorry. I know how important it is for y'all to continue on in the tournament, but would you say that tonight is a big turning point for the program?
Well, this is a huge, huge step for this program. It's what we want to be. I was telling the kids afterwards, like, you want to be sitting there, like, just nervous about where you're going and who you're playing, not nervous about, are you in or not? And, this group, this was a step in that direction. Like, you don't go from 0 to 100 without some steps in that building process. And I do think this is a huge step for this program. These kids and the players that have come before, just to have the ability now to hang a banner in that Coliseum that has gotten that monkey off our back, if you will. Now it's no longer the longest drought from the NCAA tournament. Now, like, we're in, no one can take that from us. It's something that every one of these kids will be able to tell their stories to their children. And when they become coaches, they'll be able to tell their teams. And, that's the part that makes this so special, is these young ladies we get to share it with.
Coach, I know you probably haven't had a ton of time to look at film yet in, this 20 or 30 minutes since the announcement, but I'm sure you've watched your share of college ball around the country
Right.
this season. What do you think of Oklahoma State and how you guys match up?
Well, I know that Jim Littell's been there many years, and he's done a great job. They were like number 3 seed in their tournament. Natasha Mack is kind of a double machine for them, and it'll be a big matchup for us inside. And then they've got a great 3-point shooter out on the perimeter as well. So it'll be a great matchup. The assistant coach is already back in the office breaking down film and watching it and getting it ready for me to kind of head back there after I finish this. At this point in the season, anything can happen. You just got to get prepared and how quickly you can get prepared. And, I respect what Coach Littell has done there with that program for many years. He was an assistant coach there when the fateful plane crash with the head coach, Bud Key, and the other assistant were on. And I knew some of them, and we had a staff member here who was good friends with those guys as well. So it's a program I've always kind of followed a little bit from a distance just because of kind of the history of what happened there and what's going on. And so it'll be a great challenge for us. It'll be a great matchup. It's, anytime you can have a couple Power 5 conferences match up and see where we stand, I think that's something we want to go represent the ACC as well and as good as we possibly can.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Jen. Congrats.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
I believe we'll have Gina up next.
Hello.
Hey, Gina, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing well. So were you getting nervous at all after the first half of the bracket was announced and you hadn't yet seen Wake Forest on the board?
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily nervous. I was just anxious the whole entire time, just excited to hear our name. So just really, really attentive and trying to hear as best as I could. But I was super, super anxious because of my nerves of being excited.
What's been the biggest thing for you guys this year? If you had to pinpoint one thing, I mean, I know in past years we've talked about the injuries and some other bad luck, but it seems like in a COVID year, you guys had some good luck. I mean, is there any one thing that you can pinpoint?
Yeah, I would just say, especially with it being a COVID year, we've had to deal with like a lot of adversity, and being here in the summer all together and, finding out different ways on like Zoom calls and different ways how we could connect with each other. I think it almost made us closer, and being able to learn our teammates better. And so the competition in practice, I think, has just been a big thing too. We compete like we want to play. So I would just say the competition and just our closeness with each other and how well we know each other really just shows on the court as well.
And did you guys literally dance when you heard that you guys got in?
Yeah, we all jumped out of our seats. So, yeah, we sure did.
Gina, as a senior, what's it like for you and Ivana to kind of get to this point and to, potentially cap off your career with an NCAA tournament appearance and potential run?
Yeah, so I came to Wake because I wanted to, help be a part of a team that makes it to the NCAA tournament, and to do it in my 4th year here, that's something that's super exciting. It just shows that our hard work, all of the teammates and our hard work has paid off. And, we're not done yet. We're super excited to get a foot in the tournament, and now we want to win some games. So super exciting.
I asked Coach this, and maybe you can shed some light, maybe a little bit more. It's tough sometimes to work through uncertainty, right? And I know for the last week to 10 days, y'all been kind of in limbo, not knowing for sure that you're going to have more games to play. How's the work ethic been? And as a leader, were you part of the group that made sure that work was getting done in the right way on the court?
So just off of last year with like getting postseason taken away, the opportunity of, just experiencing what it could be like if we got in and then not having it. I think that really also for me specifically just carried over to this year, and knowing that the opportunity is here. So it also, every game we just played our game like it was our last game. And I think that showed every single player did that stepped on the court. So yeah, so I think it just showed throughout the season, and then now, we have the opportunity. So.
Anything else for Gina? All right. Thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
We should have Ivana coming up next, guys.
Hello.
Okay. All right, we got Ivana on, guys. We'll start with some questions.
Ivana, as a senior, how satisfying is this for you to get to, play in the NCAA tournament?
I mean, it's a one lifetime opportunity, so I'm really excited to what is next. We know that we have to prepare it and be not just satisfied that we are in it, but winning games too in the NCAA tournament.
Gina, Ivana, did you guys ever have any doubts that y'all were going to be in this?
I think that we were really positive about our season. We know that we play really hard, and I was feeling confident, to be honest, but I'm really excited that we are in it now. But I mean, you cannot just think negative. Sometimes you just need to think positive, and just the outcome will come.
Ivana, what was the moment like for you and the team as you saw the name on the board that said Wake Forest and you all just kind of went nuts? What was that moment like?
I was so excited. I jumped out of my chair. I was nervous before. I was anxious just to hear our name. And when I saw our name playing against Oklahoma State, and we were 9th seed, so that was really good for us too. So yeah, I mean, it's a one lifetime opportunity, as I said.
What is this like the perfect like kind of ending to your senior season, Ivana? Is it kind of a culmination of a goal and something you've worked for this entire time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I came here just to get it to the program to the NCAA, and it's just one of my dreams to come true. It's not just get it in it, but have wins too.
Anything else for Ivana? All right, thanks, Ivana.
Thank you.
And that'll wrap us up tonight, guys. Thank you.
Thanks.